Good morning. This is the first module for the MBA in Bahrain 28. I'm accompanied today by Mohammed Issa, who finished his MBA with us last June. And the objective really is for Mohammed to answer any questions that the students here have got, and also to give some general points and guidelines about how to do well on an MBA. My name is David Bright and I am the Programme Leader for the Distance Taught MBA. I'm based at Hull University Business School, and we work in conjunction in offering the MBA with MDCI, a very valued partner with whom we work for many years. So good morning, Mohammed.
Good morning.
Right, you started the programme 2 or 3 years ago and you graduated in 2009. Have you had your graduation yet? Have you been for the degree?
Yes, I have been there, and it was a marvelous experience. We enjoyed it, although I could not take my wife with me because we had little children. So that was the frustrating part, but otherwise we had a good time over there.
That's good. Well, I actually taught you on your course, so I can remember some things we did on the course, but your expertise, I think, is finance, really, isn't it?
Yes.
And I think we can get them, actually. Unusually and wonderfully, Mohammed's actually turned his dissertation into a book, which we can show you. We had a laugh about this book before. It's a very clearly written finance guide. And when I was presented with a copy, my background is human resources, and before it was human resources, it was indeed industrial relations. So I saw the letters here thinking, he's written a book in my honour about industrial relations. Mohammed tells me one translation you had was?
Infrared.
That the IR stands for infrared. It is actually a book about finance, and he's not selling it, he just brought it in. So when you started the MBA, which was 2 or 3 years ago, were you nervous?
Not at all, because if you want to start something, why should you be nervous when you start something new? You should be excited, I think, because this is a new experience. You're going to meet new people, you're going to shape up your skills and increase your knowledge in the business field. So that was excitement rather than worry.
Okay, that's good. And that proved to be the case, didn't it?
Yeah.
On the MBA, we do 12 taught modules and a dissertation. And the MBA goes wide. It's a very wide type of qualification. What did you find the most interesting of the modules that you did?
The most interesting module was the system thinking, because I found it fascinating, and I used it at my job to analyze certain problems in our company, and it proved to be useful. It was a very nice feedback that what you learned can be applied in reality.
I hope the Dean is watching this, because the Dean is one of the doyens of systems thinking, Professor Jackson. I don't know if you know this, but Mike Jackson was actually awarded an honour by the Queen.
Yes,
in the OBE, that's right. Okay. Now, systems thinking for today's students is actually one of the strengths of the business school. It's quite a research-driven area, and say the beauty of it, you can actually use it back in the organisation. As a matter of interest, did you like human resource management?
Of course.
That's good. Correct answer. Correct answer. Now, were there any subjects that you not that you didn't like, but that you found difficult?
Not really.
No.
I think the other students, especially those who came from a scientific background and engineering background, they found the finance and accounting a bit difficult. But what they have done is they have grouped with each other and went ahead and succeeded in studying together and creating the solutions to the problems they had together. It wasn't because it seemed that the previous batch told them that when you go to finance, you'll have a terrible time. Mm-hmm. So it was a more of a psychology matter than a real problem.
So there's 2 points there. I think the first point, and we've made this with our new students here, is you can by all means work and help each other in groups.
Definitely.
Because today we have many students from Karama in Qatar, and we've encouraged them to work together. Obviously, when they produce their input, their assignments, it's got to be their work. So that's the first thing. The second point that Mohammed's making is mythology, that some people might tell you that certain topics are difficult, and it really does depend on your attitude to how you deal with it. So you did all your modules in Bahrain, didn't
Yes.
you? You did them here in Bahrain. When you got to the dissertation, this is the ultimate stage, and I seem to remember you got a distinction for your dissertation, which is on finance, wasn't it?
Yes.
What lessons, what ideas can you give to our students today about that?
Okay, this is now I think you need to listen very carefully because you might pick up some ideas that will really help you on the dissertation. First of all, when you choose your dissertation topic, don't choose something easy. Rather choose something interesting. When we were debating about the dissertation topics, many people went to the side of doing something on motivation, on leadership, human resources, just to make it easier on themselves. It's not about getting something easy, it's getting something interesting, something that will add value to you. Now, maybe I could share my experience and how this has really helped me when I finished my MBA. Investor relations, which is the subject of the dissertation, was under research in Bahrain, in the Middle East, and globally. So I thought anything I do will add something to the field. And that's how I approach my topic. So I embarked on the dissertation in investor relations. It was very challenging because there were no references, very little research done. When you go to Amazon.com, now it's changed, but at that time, when you go to Amazon.com and say investor relations, you can only find 9 books. And when it comes to empirical research, there are very, very few research. But along the process, I came to know many interesting people. And then I have made so many contacts with authorities in Bahrain, regulatory authorities, through the interviews, through the generation of ideas. And ultimately, when I finished the dissertation, I turned it into a book after doing some customization. Now, I'm proud to say this is the first book about investor relations, not only in Bahrain, but in the entire Middle East. So, don't do something just easy, do something interesting, do something that will add value to you. This is one aspect now. Now, the other aspect I want to talk about, many people are asking me, are you making money out of this book? Of course, as a writer, you'd love to make money, but in reality, people don't read too much in our region. So the sales is not doing very well. But on the other hand, you need to consider the non-financial implications. Now I'm invited to speak at conferences. I'm invited to contribute articles. And because of this, I was invited to become an advisory, a member in the advisory committee of Bahrain Polytechnic. And I am proud to say that I was invited by Professor Mike Jackson to become one of the members of the International Advisory Committee for Hull Business School. So this is what you get out of doing something interesting. So don't follow the easy, follow the interesting. The other thing, you need to work from the beginning with your supervisor. Don't ignore your supervisor from the beginning. Send an email, follow up, try to call your supervisor, and tell your supervisor what is your aim from the beginning. I clearly told my supervisor that I want to have a distinction in this dissertation. So this is my target. And when he knew that this is my target, he was excited as well. Because for him it was a new subject, for me it was a new subject, and it was synergy between the two of us. So these are some considerations that you need to have when you choose your dissertation. And trust me, you don't want to graduate and then down the years you look at your dissertation at home and think, I wish I had done something else. So you do something interesting that will add value to you, and it will have a spillover impact in your professional life. Now, as a book writer, you have now a certain status in the community. People will introduce you, he's an author. So this is something for your probably stroking the ego of the person, or just getting a status. Some people are looking for the status. But this is only one aspect. Now, I was talking to Dr. David before we had this interview, and I told him, when I finished writing this book, a whole new frontier opened up for me. Now I'm in the middle of course, I am a finance professional, but I have so many interests in life. And one of them is public speaking. And I'm halfway through writing another book about public speaking. And hopefully it will be launched this year in April. Last year I performed the pilgrimage to Mecca, and I'm planning to write another book about Mecca, about the pilgrimage, and this will be hopefully launched in October this year. So these are the things I got from just thinking out of the box, not thinking that I should do something just to pass the MBA and get along with life. No, you should always find something interesting to you and something that will add value to you.
Thank you very much. Now, what I would like to do is ask, do any of you have any questions for Mohammed? Because he's obviously give you a very clear pen picture of what he's done, and particularly what he's done since the MBA. But I'm sure this is your first week. Do you have any questions for any of the tables over there, Michael?
Yeah, Mohammed, you highlighted or mentioned about the difficulty of finding resources, information in the Middle East. How would you approach it if you wanted to do a dissertation and you wanted to do something like you said, something challenging for yourself and something to learn from? But when you have limited resources, how would you advise finding resources?
See, it depends on how you structure the research methodology. The resources you will need for primarily for the literature review, and to help you in substantiating the findings you had. Now, there's no clear shortcut as how can you overcome that, but what you do is you go beyond the resources that are available within the program. You need to start contacting people. From now, I think you need to have a group. You have a Facebook group or something so that you link with others. A good resource that is not utilized nowadays is LinkedIn. Are you familiar with LinkedIn? You go there, you'll find so many groups pertaining to so many fields or subjects. For example, there's the Brazilian Investor Relations group. If I were doing this again, I would just go there and put a discussion that, hello everyone, I need some resources on IR. Can you give me some links? Can you give me some leads? And you'll be surprised at how much you will get out of LinkedIn. So now it's the social network age. You need to utilize that as well. So we should not limit ourselves to resources from universities or from industry research and papers.
Thank you. Tarek?
Yeah, I'm sure you need a caliber to write a book, not even like a dissertation. So how did you manage to do that? Is it the talent that you had even before starting writing the book? Or is it something someone can learn?
I think anything in life you can learn. There's nothing special about me. It's just a process. As I said, it's up to you. It's not only in your MBA, in your life. Do you want to do something easy or you want to do something interesting and challenging? Now, yes, if you have writing talent before, it will help you a lot. Having a good command of English language will help you a lot. But there's nothing that you cannot learn in life. For example, there's this question that I know is in your mind, but I don't think anyone will dare to ask me, but I'll tell you what you're thinking. Does he use shampoo? Now what I have just done is something, a funny line that made you laugh.
Well, made me laugh anyway.
Yeah. So this is a process. Even a humor, you can learn how to create funny lines. Now, in normal circumstances, I would answer back and say, of course, I use Head and Shoulders. So this is something tested. It's not about, there's nothing, as I said, special about me. It's just the process. And that's why I said you need to have something interesting for you. Because if something interesting, you don't feel this is a burden, I have to get away with it. Let me just get it off from my chest and carry on with life. If it's something interesting to you, your ideas, your thought will flow smoothly.
Thank you. Any other questions? You say?
Can you give us some advice while you're writing your assignment? What was your objective of the assignment? What was in your mind while doing the assignment?
I do personal coaching, and I had this conversation just a few nights ago. In life, I have a philosophy that whatever you do, try to squeeze every drop out of it. By that I mean, now when you go and do your assignments, again, don't just do them for the sake of doing them and passing the module. Try to relate it to your workplace. In all my assignments, all my examples, all the problems I had were relating to our company. So I was trying to utilize the materials of the MBA to attack problems in our company. So this is one approach of taking it.
And you try to find a solution for it also in the assignment?
Of course. And that's how you add value to you and to the company.
Anybody else want to ask Mohammed a question? Yes, sir.
What
Mohammed.
was the subject of your first assignment?
It was,
And why you had chosen that?
it was about change management. It was about change management, and why I chose that, because in any organization you work in, change is inevitable. You have to change. So when you change, it's a different type of changes, disruptive changes, minor changes. So you need to know how to implement this change, and that's why I chose it. Again, as I said, you do something for the assignment and something for yourself and the company. This is, I think, the ideal way.
One last question from me, Mohammed. A lot of the students here, it's the early days for them, they asked me how many references should they use in the assignment? What's the balance between their own ideas, their applications, their organisation and references? What's your experience with that?
Well, it really depends on the subject. A subject like system thinking wouldn't probably require so many references, because when you attack the assignment, you have to use your own thinking. But on the other hand, there are subjects like, let's say, project management. You need to have references. Now, what is the balance? I think it's a very challenging question to answer, because it really depends on the length of the assignment, what are the expectations of the instructor, and the nature of the subject. So this has to be clarified for each module rather than generalize a statement. For my dissertation, I had around 6 pages of references, if I was not mistaken. So it really depends.
So just rather than confuse anybody, for your dissertation, you had 6 pages. So you're not doing your dissertation yet, so don't worry about that. For the assignment, I mean, you make some good points. It depends on the topic. For example, in accounting, you wouldn't have that many. But also, I think what Mohammed's saying is you try to get from each lecturer their own expectation, which you have from me this week. Mohammed, thank you very much. That's been great. Well,
I have
thank
a
you.
question.
All right, one
Sorry.
last question.
How applicable did you find the management theory aspect, the academic aspect of your MBA in relationship to your actual life experience within, your company and
Okay.
working?
Now, let's agree all on one thing, that management is an art and a science. Do we agree on that? Now, the art is your experience. Now, how applicable to real life, management theories, how they are applicable to real life? It really depends. It really depends on this situation. Now, if you're involved in, if you're in a senior management position, you will see so many theories you learn over here, so many tools you learn over here that they are applied in the real world. Now, we just have presented our strategy to the board, and it had all the things that you perhaps know before or you'll pick up during the MBA, such as the SWOT analysis, the PIST. All these things we are using in our strategy. So there are so many things that you can apply from the MBA program to your real life or to your real professional life.
Okay. Right, well, thank you again. It's been
We need to
very,
shake hand again.
we do. It's been very, very illuminating. And congratulations. And I look forward to seeing your latest books. As I say, you're very welcome to send them to us in the business school, and we will publicise them. So can you thank Mohammed and the usual way?